Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Gemfan Flash 5149. Now this is Gemfan's newest propeller here. If we take a look at it, you can see it's got a very interesting design. Right away, probably the biggest feature of the prop is, hopefully you can see these three little slots here, that this is a POPO prop, the prop on, prop off system from Luminaire and Get FPV. This prop will fit on them. However, these first batches of props, they do have an issue. It's not molded completely correctly, and it doesn't exactly work properly. However, Gemfan told me that they are adjusting and fixing that, so by the time you buy them, hopefully they shouldn't have that problem. These are just sort of a first batch run of black, and they do have a bunch of other clear colors that are really cool, but I don't have any at the moment, but I am definitely getting more. So we take a look at the prop itself. It actually has a pretty thin, narrow part towards the center and has a nice big scoop towards the end, following in suit with other Gemfan props, a very aggressive wingtip. And then if we look at the airfoil of it, you can get a general feel for it. So this is kind of replacing or enhancing the 5152. So if we compare them on top of each other, we can sort of get them lined up. You can see hopefully the 5149 actually has a decent bit of less blade area overall, especially towards the inner part of the scoop. And then if we look at the pitch, obviously the 5152 has a much more aggressive inner part here for that really crazy speed that this is known for. And then I also have the Gemfan Hulky 5055 here. If we compare it to that, you can see it's got pretty much the same scoop overall. It's shifted more outwards compared to the Hulky, which is more inwards. And this is a 5.1 inch prop. That's what the 51 means. It is 0.1 inches longer. So it is a tiny bit longer in diameter than the Hulky here. Hopefully you can see that. So let's real quick get these guys on the scale and see what they weigh. So the 5149 weighs about 4.59 grams. That's actually not bad at all for a 51 prop. If we weigh the 5152, this guy weighs 4.94. What was this one? 4.6. So, and this is actually the non-S version. The 5152S actually weighed about 5.2 grams, I think. And then the Hulky weighs about 4.86. So it's even lighter. And combined with the lower pitch, it should give us a little bit more control and motor response. So it'll be really interesting to see how this guy performs. So it's just a real quick intro on the Gemfan 5149. Let's take it outside and see how it flies. Alright, so here we are outside to do a line of sight test with the Gemfan 5149. So for the quad specs, we have a Mode 2 Ghost frame. The motors are the Brother Hobby R3 2207 2550 kV. We have some race light here. We have some race wire with some race light on top of them. Those are not ESCs. The ESC is in here. It's a 4-in-1 SpeedX IS 30 amp ESC. We have a Hypolite F4 version 1 flight controller, TBS HV Unify Race, Runcam Microswift 3, Emax Pagoda, and then we have a Tattoo 1550 R-Line 100C, the HV version 2 there. Oh, and for the receiver, it's X4R SB. Let's get this guy plugged up. Just set it here. Then we can take a look at the race wire. Hopefully you can see, I actually broke one of them. That one's out. The front one's here. Hopefully you can see them getting brighter as the motors turn. That's how they work. And then I have two greens underneath, and then the 4 blue up top. So just getting a feel for the props a little bit. They have an interesting sound to them. They are a 5149, so they're a 5.1 inch prop. They should be a little bit more efficient than a regular 5-inch prop. And then the 49 pitch, they're not crazy aggressive, so just kind of an interesting combo. They definitely feel like they have pretty good low end. Not great, maybe like the 5043 V1S is better, but they just feel really nice and locked and controllable. Like in a turn like this, they just sound like they're hooking it well. So let's just, while we have a decently full battery, come over. Actually, I'll come this way, so hopefully the camera can see it. Try and do a full speed pass. Wow, that was really close. That was really fast. That's pretty darn fast. Not as fast as some. I'd say still the 5152 Gemfan is faster. Obviously it's a higher pitch, higher speed prop, but I'd say this is definitely hitting over 100 miles an hour. And the battery was not even sagging at all. This V2R line, definitely putting out lots of power. Yeah, I could definitely see these for racing. They definitely said they were meant for racing. They definitely have a lot of punch and kick to them in the middle band, which I think is probably the most important spot for racing, because you're going to be there more than the bottom and the top. Interesting sound to them. Actually pretty loud here, but when they're cruising just like that, they're basically silent, which is good because noise is obviously a loss in efficiency. Yeah, they're just, and this battery is still putting out hard, so they can't be 2 amp hungry of props. Definitely not like the HQ 5151. I was definitely hurting my battery with those, and those also needed a PID retune. So that shows that the power output on these Gemfan props are pretty similar to the normal 50-55 Hulkies that I run. Hopefully now they'll just be more efficient with a little more grip. Yeah, definitely very nice. So let's feel the motors. Motors are slightly warm. The battery as well is just slightly warm. Definitely nothing to be concerned about. It's about 85 out right now though, so that's more than acceptable. So yeah, these perform pretty well in line of sight. I'll be excited to get these onto some FPV and see how they control, because they definitely feel like they're very locked in props as of right now, with the 5.1 diameter and then the 49 pitch. It's not super high, but it's not super low. I think it might be a nice medium. So let's do some FPV with them. Okay, here we have the Gemfan 5149 for some FPV. Since these are supposed to be more of a racing prop, I have my tilt a little bit higher, about 45 degrees. I'm not sure if that's just the quad shaking. Almost seems like I'm getting a little bit of shake or jitter. It doesn't sound like, there's no audible oscillations. Just looks like it's shaking a little bit. Yeah, definitely liking the grip on these guys. Just to punch through turns and change direction, very, very nice.
Minute.
Oh yeah, really nice this little track here. And that timer I have is set on to a 2-minute timer.
20 seconds.
Just to sort of simulate a race. I'm flying pretty hard here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So that was 2 minutes, and my battery is sitting at 14.8 volts. So that's not terrible. Definitely pulling on it pretty good here. But I'd say this is about as much as you're going to be pulling on it. And obviously, I normally do race a 6S setup, but I'm flying this 4S because that's what I test all of my other props on, so I'm trying to keep it similar and fair. See, the battery's down at still 14.8, 14.6, but it's still pulling pretty good. I can't audibly hear any sag. There was a little bit. Yeah, now we're getting pretty low here. So this pack would definitely still keep giving you, but I'm just going to land just so I don't really damage it. Alright, here we are back inside after that flight testing, so let me real quick just sum up my thoughts on this prop. So straight off, in terms of power and sort of flight feel, they definitely are really locked in props, and they have really nice control to them compared to 5152, and I think that's due to the scoop here. On the 5152, the scoop is very, very aggressive towards the middle here, so that when your prop spins up really fast, that can give you an extra bit of speed boost. However, that means you have to be going at higher RPMs to sort of generate as much comparable thrust to a lower pitch like this prop. So this is not quite as fast as 5152. However, I felt it was still definitely very fast enough on 2207, 2550 kV motors. But while it sort of shifted the power band down a little bit into the lower end, which I thought made it really nice. And that's pretty much also what the Hulky 5055 did. However, I had problems with this prop. I've been using it pretty much for racing right now. However, it's not that durable, and it's a little bit heavy on the amps. But mainly the durability. It bends really easy. Oh, it bends really easy like that right at the hub, and then, you know, it's not going back into balance. You can't bend these back properly. So I am happy to report on the 5149, as well as I know a couple other people have tested these so far. These are actually really durable props. As you can see, they're pretty stiff, but they sort of bend all the way out here, not up at the hub. The hub's actually pretty thick, and it's got a lot of material in there. And I had a couple crashes, and all I did was like sort of chip up the tips a bit. You know, I smashed into a tree, and they did just fine. Actually, this quad right here is the one where I smashed into the tree, and this was all the damage I had. I sort of just, it bent the tip down just a little bit, but that would still be more than flyable. So as I did mention, I showed you flight footage from the 4S quad right here. However, I also did test it on 6S, just not on camera, but I do have a little bit of DVR here to show you. And it's pretty much like the main differences from going to 4S to 6S on other props. You know, it just improves sort of the stick feel and responsiveness. I feel pretty much the same exact top speed, but a little bit more efficiency. And in terms of efficiency in general for these props, I thought they were pretty decent. They definitely, if you do haul on the throttle, really high, 70 to 80% most of your flight, like in a really hard race, you are going to be sagging your battery pretty hard, or at least drawing on it pretty hard. But they definitely were less amp hungry than the 5152, I thought, and they were pretty comparable with the Hulky 5055. But they did seem to have a little bit more control and everything just due to the lower pitch and the 5.1 inch props. I really think these are a really good combination for racing. I haven't tried them for freestyle, but for racing, this is actually pretty much going to be my preferred prop going forward. I just really like this, especially on 6S, since it is a little bit bigger of a prop to turn, but it's still a pretty lightweight prop. 2207 motors on 6S just really had a lot of torque to control it, and I was just fine in terms of flight time. So yeah, it's going to bring us to the end of the review here for the Gemfan Flash 5149, their new tri-blade. Definitely, if you could not tell from the review, I'm a really big fan of this. Gemfan has been putting out some really nice props lately, and this probably might make me switch from the 5045 and 5050 V1S for racing. Just has a really nice feel to it, and it does not pull too many amps, so I'm going to be trying these out in my next race. There will be a link down below in the description if you're interested in the prop. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.